Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and it has been months since I have shown a video altering a book page. So that's what I'm going to do today, starting with a blank page and building up layer by layer until we have a finished layout. I'm going to talk about collage, about embellishing, and other whatnot. If you like altered books, and if you like vintage paper, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have a lot of them, such as these plates here. These are from a book called The Art and Craft of Hairdressing from 1935. It was a textbook for hairdressing. And I love these plates. She has blue hair, people. Blue. So anyway, I have made high-res scans of these images, and I have an online newsletter that's coming out this Sunday, and these scans will be in it. They're free. So you can get these scans, print them up, and use them in your own work. All you're going to do is sign up, and the link to do that is in the text below this video. If this video is coming to you in the future, please just let me know, and I'll get the link to you so that you can get these. Now, you will probably have a boatload of ideas about how to use these images already in your own pages. But just in case you want to jump start, I am going to use one of these images as the focal point for today's layout. Now, do not adjust your screen because, yes, she is wearing a swan in her hair. Now, kudos to anybody who's got the confidence and the moxie to wear a swan as an accessory, to say nothing of the sheer good posture that I'm pretty sure it demanded. Let's go alter a book. This is the book that I am currently working in. It is from 1838, and it has this lovely tortoiseshell looking cover. I've already started preparing the book. I've glued the pages together so they're nice and robust and will stand up to gluing and liquid media. I have a longer video about preparing your book, and I will link to that in the text. I've started adding some backgrounds. This is a handwritten ledger page. I don't know where it is going to go. I just put that down. This is a layout that I've started. And this is a pocket over here for paper ephemera. But this page still has a long way to go. I'm going to start today with this layout. The spine really wasn't holding up as well as I liked, so I have mended that using some mulberry paper. And that's okay. I'm not going to cover that up. I'm just going to leave it as part of the look. I want to add a contrasting background. And I'm using this page from a magazine from the 1880s called The Girl's Own Paper. And it looked like this. And then I rough tore it diagonally. Just did it to the eye, not really thinking about it. And what I'm going to do now is put one fragment in either corner. And this does a couple of things. One is that it draws the viewer's eye across the pages. And that way you don't get a layout that is page, page. Now you've got one canvas to work on. Okay, just one thing. Another thing that it does is it gives you the peeling wallpaper look that I am crazy about. This is a pretty dramatic image, and you may not have access to it, so I want to show how this technique looks using papers that you probably can find or already have, such as sheet music. Just rough tore it diagonally, and you can see now that this is going to do the same thing. It's going to make your page hold together and add contrast so that your images will pop. You can also use text, just plain old printed text from a different book. Especially if the font is different, it's going to look really cool. One kind of paper that I like for this technique is these wildflower pages. And I do use these a lot. Now you can too, because I have them on my website, and as scans, they're free. So I put a link to that in the text below here. Go get them. I use them for so many things, such as here I've made a border, and that would be kind of cool to start a page with. But let's look at those contrasting corners again. I'm just going to rough tear to the eye. And now, again, you've got that peeling wallpaper look, that contrast, that pop, and it's going to look really good. So just look around your stash, see what you've got, experiment, and play around. Before I put this on the page, I am inking up the edges using an ink pad, a stamp pad, and a blending tool. You can also use a makeup sponge. It works just fine. And so I'm just bouncing in a little bit, daubing in a little color. Ta-da. I also wanted to pick that dark pinky purple color up. So what I've done is I've looked at some of these flowers and I've added a little bit of a tint to those. I have some watercolor that I've mixed in that kind of pinky purple color, and I've added a lot of water, so it's less of a paint and more of a wash. And I'm going through and I'm not even painting every single flower. There we go. I'm just doing like every third one. Because again, this isn't painting. I just want it to mainly be suggestive, suggesting some color. And which will also, again, link these pieces. Just going to let those dry and then glue them down. Be right back. Now the background is in place and the lady is going to go over on this side. I could move her over here, but she would cover up too many of the blossoms. And I could move her more over here, but I actually like here because the curve of her shoulder covers up part of this seam where the page is down, and it becomes more integrated. It looks kind of flush. I really like that. The question is, what's going to go on over here? And the first thing that I thought of, even though it's really obvious, is how about a swan? Because I did have a perfectly good swan in my bird image box. And, you know, so I tried him down here and here. And it just doesn't hold. They're not engaging. And so even though I could imagine a story, it just doesn't, it's just not a good page. I then went on to try out about 30 different birds. I mean, I tried out a lot of birds yesterday. I don't hate that. That's really got possibility. I also like this guy. This is a very formidable bird, and he brings a lot to the table, a lot to this layout. They are engaging with each other, a little bit of color, but it's very soft. So I thought about this one for a long time. Hi. But I don't know. None of them really were true. So I gave up on the birds for a bit and decided to work on embellishing my page and go back to the a strong focal point. And to do that, I had this tulip. I think it's a tulip that's fading and is falling apart. And I put that down there, and bam, that's it. That was what this page needed. And so instead of looking for another focal point to interact with, I saw that this frames this so well that the story is now between this lady and this lady. I'm not quite sure what the story is, but I can tell you that this is from the 1880s. And this woman is from a different era, from the late 20s, early 30s. And I'm going to go crazy and guess that she's a party girl, because swan on her head. But they're both very young and very beautiful. And this woman is who this woman might become in a few decades, or maybe her daughter or granddaughter. So I think that's the story. And especially since they are looking at each other, almost looking at each other very fondly with a little bit of a smile. Then I had this butterfly from the butterfly image box, and I really liked that it had similar colors to the ones that I'm picking out here. I tried hard to get it to go to this side of the page for balance, to offset that really strong image. And it just didn't go. So I went ahead and brought it back over here, which is where it's going to go. And that is my layout. I am not going to do as much embellishing as I originally anticipated because there's enough going on in this page. It doesn't need much else. I am, however, going to take my charcoal pencil and go over here and pick up the lines of this arch, which is something that I really like to do when I have a black and white engraving. Because now I can do that, and it just makes the page pop a little bit. Let's go over here and do the same. It's very subtle, but it definitely gives a little bit of depth there. A little bit of sort of like a 2D. And finally, I'm going to put a border around this page. I'm going to do that. This is a Derwent Chunky XL. It's graphite based. It is water soluble, but today we're going to just use it because it smudges so well. I love the way these smudge. So I'm not going to activate them with water. I'm just going to go around all of the pages like this. And and smudge. I'm just gonna work that, pull it out, just pull the color out just a little bit into the page. And this creates a border, a kind of a frame around the whole thing that really, really, really pulls it together. So almost like a painting. Whew! There we go. If you have any questions or feedback, please let me know in the comments. I really like to compare notes. Again, I have a new newsletter coming out this weekend, so if you'd like to sign up for that, the link is in the text below. Let me know if you can't find it. Until next week, happy making.